Whoa. There's a moment when the silence starts bending, when the calm you cling to begins cracking. That's when names start drifting through the air like loose threads, and yours floats right into their mouths. Funny thing is, betrayal never arrives with a shout. It sneaks in like a flicker behind the eyes. A twitch at the corner of a smile, a shift in the tone someone swears you imagined. You feel it before you hear it. You hear it before you believe it. And once you believe it, the room is never quiet again. You try to brush it off. Pretend the hum in your head is nothing more than your own doubt stretching its legs. But deep down, you recognize the rhythm of it, the sting, the cold little truth that someone spoke your name with the wrong intention. Someone carried your story like a torch they didn't earn. Every stranger's glance becomes heavier. Every pause between words becomes sharper. And you finally realize the quiet didn't break by accident. Someone pushed it. Someone needed it to break. There's a strange honesty in being misrepresented. It forces you to understand what they fear in you, what they envy, what they can't replicate, no matter how deeply they try to cut. People reveal themselves most clearly when they whisper, not when they shout. Their whispers hold their motives. Their motives reveal their weakness. Their weakness exposes their limits. And their limits tell you exactly how far they'll go to drag your name where it doesn't belong. But here's the twist that slices deeper. Their betrayal isn't about you. It never was. It's about their panic, their discomfort, their inability to stand beside someone who carries a different fire. They speak to shrink you because they can't grow themselves. They whisper to control what they can't confront. They twist your story because your truth outshines their comfort. And that is what terrifies them. Scandal isn't chaos. It's clarity. It shows you what people truly see when they strip away the mask you pretended to wear. The whispers turn into reflections, and suddenly you're staring at a version of yourself they tried to sculpt from fragments. Sharp pieces, crooked edges, exaggerated shadows. They think they're exposing you, but all they're doing is exposing what frightens them most. A spotlight built from rumors still lights the same figure, and that figure is you, standing taller than their intentions. Most people crumble when their name leaves their control. You won't, because every distorted tale told about you reveals the cracks in their courage. Their attempt to shrink your presence only confirms the weight you carry. And when they twist your image, they think they're painting your downfall, but they're only painting their fear. Scandal doesn't weaken you, it reveals the framework of your strength. It shows who watches, who studies, who imitates, and who trembles when you rise without their permission. The truth is simple. When they talk, they're not trying to ruin you. They're trying to understand you. And when they fail to understand, they invent stories to fill the gap. Let them, because their stories act like mirrors tilted at strange angles. You'll learn what part of your ambition scares them, what part of your presence challenges them, what part of your silence keeps them awake. Each rumor becomes a reflection. Each reflection becomes knowledge, and knowledge is a sharper tool than anything they threw at you. So let the scandal echo. Let it swirl through rooms where you've never stepped. Let it land in ears that never met you, because the more they talk, the clearer the mirror becomes. And when you finally look into it, you won't see the version they built. You'll see the strength you ignored, the resilience you buried, the fire you pretended wasn't there. Scandal shows you the truth. You were too distracted to notice. And once you see it, you can't ever look away. There comes a point when you stop running from their version of you. You stare it down. You trace every exaggerated line, every twisted detail, and you feel something shift inside your chest. Not anger, not fear, something sharper, something cleaner. You realize their attempt to expose you wasn't an ending. It was an opening, a doorway they kicked open, thinking you would hide, but instead you stepped through with a steady breath and a mind ready to rewrite everything. Because here's the truth they never expected. Exposure only destroys the ones who depend on illusion. You don't. You're not built on borrowed layers. You're not powered by approval. When they spill fragments of your life, you take them back one by one. You polish them. You arrange them. You turn their scattered pieces into a mosaic they never had the courage to imagine. They wanted the world to see you cracked. Yet you reveal yourself carved, structured, refined through fire, rather than fading under pressure. Finishing the story means reclaiming the pen they tried to steal. It means speaking with precision instead of defense. You don't explain, you define, you don't argue. You present truth with a tone that lands heavier than any rumor. The moment you take control, the narrative shifts. The noise quiets. The eyes watching you begin to see the difference between their fiction and your presence. And presence always wins. It lingers long after their stories collapse under their own weakness. Remember this. Those who expose you want to guide the ending. They want to force the world to look through their lens. But you break the lens. You step forward without hesitation. You let the world see the version of you they were too threatened to acknowledge. The version shaped by resilience instead of whispers. The version forged by choice instead of fear. Finish the story yourself and watch every false chapter fade into silence. There's a shift that happens the moment you fall silent. A clean break. A snap in the air that others pretend not to hear but feel anyway. Explanations drain you. They twist your strength into question marks. They make you seek comfort in places that never offered it. But when you stop explaining, the world pauses. People blink. They lean back. They wonder what changed. And that uncertainty becomes your armor. It tightens around you. It sharpens your edges. Silence becomes the line they can't cross. Most people talk to earn understanding. You don't. Not anymore. You let your actions breathe for you. You let your presence carve its own shape. Words become optional. Noise becomes irrelevant. And suddenly, the same voices that chased you with questions begin stumbling over their own assumptions. They don't know where you stand. They don't know what you're planning. They don't know what thoughts are circling behind your quiet stare. And that confusion exposes exactly who depended on your explanations to feel secure. Silence changes the balance. It shifts the weight back into your hands. When you refuse to justify yourself, their grip loosens. Their confidence cracks. They start filling the silence with their own doubts instead of your answers. And that's when everything turns. You stop chasing approval. You stop offering clarity to people who never earned it. You rise without announcing anything. And the world watches, trying to decode a message that no longer belongs to them. Chaos has a taste, sharp, metallic, thick enough to coat your tongue until every hesitation falls silent. Most people fear it. They flinch when life twists out of shape. But you're built differently. You feel the shift. You welcome the disorder that rattles the weak. Because chaos is the training ground they never prepared for. It rips away comfort. It tears down routine. And in the wreckage, you learn how your mind truly moves when nothing holds it still. Pressure exposes instinct. It forces your thoughts to sharpen like a blade dragged across stone. The world may shake, people may scatter, but you learn to breathe through the noise. You learn to see opportunity inside broken patterns. While others freeze, you adjust. While they crumble, you step forward. Chaos teaches you to trust the part of yourself that doesn't ask for permission, the part that rises without waiting, the part that thrives when control slips through every hand but yours. Think about it. Every moment you endured that felt unfair, every sudden twist that cracked your routine, every betrayal that split the air, those were not setbacks. They were sharpening points. You didn't collapse. You recalibrated. You adapted. You built new instincts faster than others built excuses. That's what separates you. Not luck, not chance, but your ability to turn turmoil into strategy. Your reflex to stand taller when the ground shakes. Your quiet refusal to fold when eyes expect you to bend. Chaos teaches focus, not calm, not comfort, focus. It strips away every distraction until only the core remains. That pulse behind your ribs, that drive behind your stare, that hunger you tried to silence to make others comfortable. Chaos removes their noise. It exposes your direction. It reveals what matters. And once you learn to navigate it, nothing ordinary can ever limit you again. The storm becomes familiar, the strain becomes fuel, the pressure becomes your rhythm. Remember this, the hunter isn't born in certainty. The hunter is shaped in moments no one else wants to face. You don't rise because the path is smooth. You rise because you learn to walk when everything cracked beneath your feet. Chaos tried to break you. It didn't. It made you precise. It made you sharper. It made you the kind of force they whisper about when they think you're not listening. Betrayal isn't just a wound. It's a layout of the terrain you've been walking blind across. Each lie reveals a hidden path. Each whisper shows you who stands too close. Betrayal sketches the outlines of people who were never meant to travel with you. And once you study those lines, you stop stumbling. You stop trusting out of habit. You start choosing with precision. The world becomes clearer the moment someone shows their intentions, without meaning to. They thought they had you figured out. That pressure, expectation, the weight of every eye would force you to crumble. But here's the twist. You don't follow the rules they set. You bend them. You stretch them. You break the patterns they tried to lock you into. Every limit they whispered about becomes the first line you redraw. And suddenly, the game is no longer theirs, it's yours. Sharp, unpredictable, dangerous. They expect submission, predictability, weakness disguised as calm. You deliver none of it. You move sideways through their expectations. You twist the outcome while they blink, trying to understand how someone could step out of the box without breaking it. Every rule they held sacred becomes clay in your hands. Every standard they thought unshakable is now a pathway you carve for yourself. They can't predict your rhythm because there is no rhythm they can contain. Bending the rules isn't chaos for chaos' sake. It's strategy disguised as madness. Every deviation from their map teaches you something new. Every unexpected step destabilizes the watchers and clarifies your path. You're no longer a player in their story. You're writing your own. And the more they expect you to fail, the sharper your edge becomes. The more rigid their world, the more fluid you move through it. Untethered by expectation. They measure courage by compliance. They count risk by comfort. You measure it by survival and vision. You bend rules like a sculptor bending steel, shaping reality around the truths they refuse to see. Every risk they feared is a tool you now wield. Every expectation they enforced becomes a stepping stone to mastery. And they notice. Oh, they notice. But it's too late. You've already rewritten the code. Remember this. They expected you to break under pressure. They expected to see cracks. And instead, you rewrote the rules, moved in shadows. They didn't map and turned their certainty into your advantage. Their blueprint of control becomes your playground. Their attempts to confine you become the architecture of your rise. You bend, you move, you conquer. And in doing so, you show that the strongest mind doesn't survive by obeying, it survives by outthinking. You've been taught to fear betrayal, to see it as a breaking point. But if you tilt your perspective, it becomes instruction. A diagram of motives, a map of patterns. A guide to the minds that tried to pull you down. Their actions expose the weak spots in your circle and the strong points in your character. They reveal where you overextended your kindness, where you confused loyalty with convenience, where you offered access that should have remained locked behind your caution. The power comes when you stop reacting and start analyzing. You collect the fragments of the betrayal and arrange them like pieces of a hidden plan. What did they expect from you? What did they fear in you? What did they hope would break? And why didn't it? The answers sharpen your vision. They refine your moves. They turn your next steps into strategy instead of impulse. You rise not by ignoring the betrayal, but by studying it until it becomes a lesson no one can erase. Let the betrayal stay in the past, but let the blueprint stay in your mind. Carry it quietly. Use it wisely. Move with awareness born from the pain they delivered, thinking it would crush you. Every broken bond becomes structure. Every exposed motive becomes instruction. And every false friend becomes a marker, reminding you where not to step again. That's how you transform. Not by forgetting the betrayal, but by letting it guide the creation of a stronger version of you. You've walked through every fracture, every whisper, every twist they never thought you'd survive. And if you're still here, listening, breathing, sharpening, then you already proved something they'll never admit. You're built to rise from rumors. You turn scandal into clarity, betrayal into strategy, pressure into precision. They tried to expose you, but all they did was uncover a mind that refuses to fold. A presence that learns faster than they can speak. A will carved from every moment they underestimated you. But this is only the beginning. The real shift happens when you see the full picture, when you absorb every section, when the whole transformation clicks into place. So watch the rest of the video. Take in every line meant to hit your core. Don't rush. Don't skim. Let each moment carve its meaning into your thoughts. And when you're done, go to the comments. Tell me which part struck the deepest. Which truth woke something inside you. Your voice matters here more than you realize.